Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. Good times with Scar here, and welcome back to Hermit Quest. That's right, we're back at our beautiful castle here, looking at the incredible progress we've gotten done in our last episode by building up these gigantic There's a missing block on that tower, and it's driving me crazy. But look at these incredible towers and walls we now have completely built up. Now, there may be some additional towers built outside of the kind of general structure that we have here. Maybe some, over by those two big trees, or maybe down by the pathway. But the main structure with all the towers, all of the walls are now complete, and I'm so excited to see that. And if you guys like this design or enjoying the series, definitely hit that like button so I know you guys are enjoying it. Now, where we need to work today is where we left off in our last episode, down here by our little pedestal here for our king. So my vision for this location is within that little doorway right in front of us. That's where the king lives. So he's got offices, quarters, bedrooms, all sorts of wonderful things within that area. And still hoping that doesn't look like a boat. I don't know, maybe it looks like a boat, but I love it. I think it looks really cool. Now, for the interior, what I like to do when I come into a scene like this, it's very messy. As you can see, lots of blocks haphazard and around. So what I'm going to start off with is just cleaning the walls, building up some smooth surfaces. And when I do that, it's like putting a puzzle together, and I can start becoming more and more creative by just doing this in kind of almost like silence, if you will. And then your brain just starts kind of coming up with ideas, kind of envisioning what and how somebody would interact with this area. Now, one thing before we start with that particular spot, I want to show you guys real quickly that I actually finished this off camera. So remember how we left this back section, it was very unfinished? Well, I've got lots of windows and walls and all sorts of detail here that I'm very, very pleased with in that section. And yeah, this is really coming together. Where we still need to work, of course, is the enchanting chamber down below. But by today, once we get some more interiors built up in the towers, things for players to explore, and of course start to kind of envision what we want to do for our marketplace down in this lower area. My envision at the moment is giant tents built up on the sides here, different hopefully NPCs selling magical things, and I think that would be really, really cool for players to find a lot to do within the walls of the enchanter. And yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. And it's time to get busy here. So why don't I start cleaning these walls up, and I'll meet you guys in just a second to start working on some interior designs. And we've got ourselves a pretty cool setup in this room now. Look at this beautiful room here. So just cleaned up the walls, got myself a pretty good organization within the area. Now there's definitely some work to be done here and a little bit up there, but what I want to start working on now is getting the kind of foundational structure of the furniture done. So my thoughts are that we're going to start up with the desk in front of the window and then some chairs on either side. So this is more of kind of a working office, and when the king wants to address the subjects, he can come out here and talk about magic and how awesome they all are. So let's start working on this. Now, the desk, now that's a tough one because I've been thinking about setting up something similar to this, but what I want to do is use a little bit of dark chocolate. Now, the reason being is I want this to set off from the rest of the room. And of course, the ceiling, has a little bit of milk chocolate up there. So the reason is I just wanted to kind of have a little bit of a contrast from the rest of the area. Now what I can do here is put these little kind of wings on the sides. Look at those. Those are pretty fancy. Now for the door, what I've been thinking about is going with a dark chocolate here on the floor with a dark chocolate back section here. There we go. And then tying in the window colors like so. Boom, look at that. That's a pretty sweet chair. Now, how can we add armrests and things of that nature? Now that's a bit tricky because, there's a lot of possibilities with item frames now. And then where's the other thing? Trap doors. So these are all possibilities we can do for the edges here. Look at that and that. This is a tough one, and I usually go towards the item frame. The reason being is that I've always enjoyed adding that little extra bit of color via the, what is that? That's wool, not wool, that's leather in the center there. So something like that looks decent. Now the problem with it, of course, is that almost birch style wood that goes around the edges. It's a little bright for the darker colors that we're trying to achieve with this design. So it's a bit of a sticky situation. I'm not exactly sure which one I want to use. So I'm going to kind of hold it at this pattern at the moment. And then I'm going to kind of work over here and see if something comes to me. Now, I like this design right here. See how the post kind of holds up right there? I think that's kind of different. I think that's nice. Now, question is, should we do dark chocolate or maybe a little oak in that section? I don't know. It's a good question. But I've got a little setup over here. Now, I've been thinking about also putting some of these chairs along the sides here for, advisors and different things like that. Can come up there and talk. Now, the problem with this, of course, is it looks like they're actually incorporating jungle wood into the back section here, which isn't ideal. So I think I might shy away from something like that. But within the roleplay mod, there are some things that we can use, like these books. Look at this. Look at this. Bam. Look at that. So much incredible detail right there. And even just a candle to put next to it. Oh, I love it. Now we need to add some more detail to the countertop, but generally that's pretty good. But you might be wondering what on earth we're going to do for this section over here. That's a good question. That might be where we incorporate those trapdoors once again. So say we pull out the trapdoors and we do something similar, but what I don't want to happen is to make this look like it's an extension of the desk. See how these two pieces look like they're just a continuation? That's a bit of a problem. So we'll back off those and think about it a little bit longer. Maybe set them back one more block. Now, if we do this, we have the issue of getting pretty close to the walls here. Now, I like having these columns. See these columns reaching for the top of the ceiling there? I like that because it kind of separates this as almost kind of an entryway in and out of the room. But if we move those chairs back one, see how they kind of separate themselves a little bit? So I like that. And it's a tough choice. We could have gone with a slab floor, and that gives us another range of possibilities within the furniture. But I'm kind of liking where we're going with this. Let me work on this just a little bit more and see if I can kind of tie that dark oak a little bit more into the room. We now have an absolutely incredible King's Library and office. Let's take a look down here. And as you can see, our challenge was to take the desk colors and incorporate it throughout the room. And I think we've achieved that very well. So let's step down and look at that beautiful ceiling. We have chandeliers up into it with a very beautiful coffer design. I think looks really, really nice. Now looking down at the desk, of course, we've taken the dark chocolate, the milk chocolate accents and surrounded the room in it. So I think the desk feels a little bit more a part of the actual, room instead of just looking slightly awkward like it looked before. Of course, I've added a carpet. I think that really helps kind of tone down the grays and the stones a little bit and softens the room up a bit. As you can see back in the chair over here, we've got some more detail. I've decided to switch it out and go with a black kind of upholstery for our chair, and I think that looks really cool. Especially, it really stands out against the window. Now swooping around the back, these things are really cool. So I found this mod. It has some scrolls and it even has a key. So what I was thinking was, wouldn't it be amazing? I mentioned this before, but if an item frame could go flat on a surface, and just think of all the little junk and clutter we could put on this desk, I think it would look really cool. So you might have been looking back here. Look at that beautiful map of the castle. Now, my question is, do you guys like this design for the backdrop being maps of the world and things of that nature? Or do you like a Minecraft portrait on there? So this is the choice. Choice A or choice B. So in the comments go hashtag choice A or hashtag choice B for the painting and or map, because I'm not 100% sure. And I got one other thing I need you guys to help me with. So this has been what we've been kind of going back and forth about with the enchanting. So do you think it would be awesome if we put an enchanter, say, inside the desk like this? And this is a very low level enchanter, whereas if you want to get the higher levels, you got to go down. I don't know. I was considering doing it, but I think we should funnel as many people as possible down into the proper enchanting grotto. But it's a possibility we still can think about in that area. But yeah, I love this. I think it came out really cool. We had these cool little banners with these swirly magical things. And I think that came out really nice. But something that has greatly challenged me is this room right here. And of course, its corresponding room on the other side is how do we get from the top to the bottom and anywhere in between in these areas, because doing staircases like off to the side like I was planning is not going to work with our big windows on the sides. These sections just aren't big enough to create a proper staircase, and it just kind of takes away from the room, and it feels a little kind of just, jammed in and feels ugly. I tried a whole bunch of ways. The only thing I could come up with is a ladder. That's right. And I cannot decide if this is a perfect solution or a really tacky solution. I always prefer to go with some form of a staircase no matter what, but unfortunately being in a round turret of a tower and having these entrances on both sides, windows over here and there, it's just not going to look right. Say we wanted to do some couches, fireplaces, things of that nature in this area, we wouldn't have room for a staircase. So, unfortunately, I think the ladder is the only way to go. Now, think of this in gameplay wise. Yeah, you kind of have an advantage of being up here and, nobody could get up here, but what's the point of coming up here really, other than the fact that it is incredibly powerful to look out over the whole map. But the disadvantage is you could get trapped up here. Like if another team's set up below the ladder, you're stuck. So it's a gamble. Do you want to get a look out throughout the entire map? Or do you want to, keep playing because a team could set up down at that ladder and do you win? So I think this room needs some work. I'm going to start thinking out some designs. I've got to show you this fireplace design. Look at that incredibly beautiful and intricate design. Now, this is all achieved with the half slabs and stairs, and it's why I'm such an advocate for half slabs and stairs for concrete and or hardened clay. Either one would be amazing because we could take designing this detailed oriented design to the next level with all of that beautiful color that we could add to our builds. But unfortunately, we're stuck with the woods and the stones for now. But I love this. As you can see, back into the fireplace, I have the netherrack. Now, the reason is it's very charred back there. This is a fire that's constantly roaring to keep this little old tower warm. So as you can see, it's all been burnt up back there. And I think that really adds a beautiful contrast. Now, up in this little corner up here, I really like this. This is just absolutely beautiful how we were able to achieve this design. So as you can see, we just kind of go boom and a bam on that side, then cut a piece inside in the center, and then extra pieces along there. Just adds so much extra little visual interest to the windows, especially having a very flat ceiling, which we can't do anything about because the windows kind of go right up to it. So remember, in building, always try to have at least 2 blocks for a floor and a ceiling. So you can have, a unique, ceiling material. And of course, on the upper level, you can have a unique flooring. It's something I forgot to do, but I always try to remind you guys, always try to achieve that design. But I'm very pleased with this so far. So rest of this, I'm considering doing a dining room here and or a bedroom on top or a living room. So it's kind of a decision I'm going to keep going, but I had to show you that fireplace. And I hope you're hungry because we now have a dining room looking super fancy. Got ourselves a beautiful chandelier, a little detail wood at the top acting as a beam, really nice chairs on either end of the table, and then smaller chairs on the lengths of the table looking super fancy. Of course, our fireplace, and we've got some plates, got some cups on the table looking super nice. Now this iron bar now doesn't quite match the darker gray of the lamp here, but I think it fits, especially at a distance. It's like, that's fine. People will be passing through here so fast. So I'm very, very pleased with the way this has come out. I'm still looking for something that looks like food. It would have to be something along the lines of a half slab or smaller, because if I place a giant block right here, say of, quartz, raw quartz could almost act as meat. And this just doesn't look good. It's just a giant block, kind of out of scale with the rest of the theme. So I was looking through the inventory. I still haven't found something yet, but I'm going to continue to look. But we're going to head upstairs and now work on a bedroom. So I think I've got some pretty cool ideas here. So let me grab some supplies. So now that we have our supplies, let's start lining this room up. We want to create a bed, a 4-poster bed, so something very regal and grand. And then maybe a small sitting area for the fireplace here. So we just ran a piece of string for some reason. There we go. So yeah, I think this will work out. Now, doing a chandelier hanging from the ceiling, I don't think it's going to work if we build our 4-poster bed in either one of these quadrants. Now, the reason I'm leaning against not doing it here is that it's going to stick out to right about there. And that's where I was thinking about putting either a couch or chairs, maybe running a couch and then 2 chairs. But I think the couch might have to get axed because there might not be a room. I think back here, don't you guys think? I think back here is going to be pretty cool. So let's start here by just bringing this guy all the way up, and we're going to give ourselves about 3 blocks in the center and hopefully pull this out to about 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Very wonderful. Now, if this comes out a little too far and we can't do the designs that we want to do by the fireplace, then we'll just back our bed off just ever so slightly. Not a big deal at all. Very beautiful and very modular design that we like to work with this bed. I developed this design so long ago. It was way back in 2012, and it was for the mother tree. Now, if you don't know what the mother tree is, it was a project that I created in my survival world, Scarline, and it was a tree farm. Now, in the center of the tree farm was a gigantic tree, and it's why I kind of got started with loving making trees within Minecraft and landscaping. Is all kind of stems from that particular project, and just generally I just dislike Minecraft's landscapes. So that's also a thing. So with this design in the interior, so I built a tree, and I was like, well, dang, what am I going to do with the inside? Because up until then, I wasn't huge on interior design, and I know you might be going, but Ska, all those modern houses that you built. Yes, I know, because up until then, I was just not big on it. The reason being is I was very practical in Minecraft in 2011, 2012, and had to have some form of reason. And I just didn't think that a fake bed and a fake toilet really fit in. And it took a while for me to finally realize that, you know what? Viewers have been suggesting me do this for so long. I'm just going to break down and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it once. I'm going to see if I like it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to do it. But if I like it, maybe I'll continue it. And I've loved ever since then. I've been making toilets and beds and all sorts of different things in Minecraft through our modern houses and Scar World and things along those lines. And I've loved it. And I think that's so important, especially as a content creator, is to really listen to your viewers. It's just to get an understanding, like what's going on, what are they thinking, what are they wanting, and to always try things. Always try things. Maybe it's not something that you are exactly keen on, like me, making unuseful toilets in Minecraft. But eventually I came through and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. And I did. And I loved it. I love making toilets now. It's great. So we've been making toilets ever since. And I remember I made the sandstone toilet in the mother tree. And it was controversial because everybody really wanted a porcelain. But I was thinking with this design, it's a very rustic kind of bathroom, bedroom, you know, all the things within the tree. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with sandstone. It's different. And I think it'll look pretty cool. And ever since then, there's still people, it's like, Scar, did you ever change that back to iron? And I was like, no, it's still sandstone. Okay, so this is, oh, I just realized, I know why officially. I was thinking like, what exactly was the reason? It was because we didn't have quartz then. And by using sandstone, we had some half slabs and we had some stairs. We could make a little bit more detail around the toilet. Whereas if we did iron, it was just an iron block and an iron block. And it didn't look so great. But if you use sandstone back then, before we had quartz, you could get more detail. Oh, that just came to my mind. I was like, why exactly didn't I do it in there? Because we didn't have iron. And nowadays, or I mean quartz, because nowadays we have quartz and we can do amazing things with quartz. So now I remember. Sorry about cutting out there. Got a little out of breath, but I'm all better now. And maybe I had gotten a little too carried away with Minecraft toilets. But anyway, I've made these beautiful chairs right here, and I think they look really, really nice. So we got those set up using some snow, using some carpet and some spruce wood. Now, up in this little spot here, I've been so inspired to put maybe, let's see, let me grab out one of those stands for a weapon. There we go. So let me quickly remove that, and then let's grab a sword. Maybe I actually have one in my inventory. We've done this one elsewhere. Let's grab something unique. Ooh, this is kind of awesome. Oh, that's so cool. The shadow. Oh, for sure we're doing the shadow. Oh, it's all like buzzing about. There we go. Can the shadow just go in there? Wait, you're not the shadow. It's an imposter. You're not the shadow. There we go. That's the shadow. Oh, there's some imposter sword. But doesn't that look really cool? We'll put some barrier blocks up there because, you know, we don't want anybody stealing the shadow now, do we? That's a special weapon from the king of this region who've took down his enemies with that, and he places it above his fire with pride. That's the story, and I'm going to stick with it. All right, so back here, I think that's a nice little alcove, nice little detail. So I was thinking either a wither skull, maybe, what if we did this? What if we pushed this back here like that? And stuck a little wither skull back there. Ooh, that's very mysterious. I love that. I love that. So back in this little corner here, it's kind of blank. I also put some carpet here. Now this is of course a carpet slab. Now this is a full carpet block. I had to do that because of course you can't put those under half slabs like that. So I think that looks really nice. So this is, wow, this room is really coming together. Now back in this little spot here, we need something back here. This is a huge blank spot. Maybe it's a secret passageway in case things get dicey. It's an emergency escape hatch. Could be. But I think it needs something else back here. So I'm going to kind of mess around and see what comes to mind. We have gotten A huge amount of progress done in creating a living, breathing environment, which I'm so excited about. I really want players who are willing to, go out and explore to find some interesting things along the way. And hopefully we achieve that today with our interior designs for our castles. And we've got ourselves a dining room here. We have some beautiful chandeliers, some wooden beams on the ceilings. We have tables and chairs, and I love the little plates and cups along there. Now we still need some food. That's right, we need some food in there, but I just can't come up with a good design that looks cool there. So remember, help me with that. Also, we have this fire, which I love. It's got that nether brick in the back, creating this real charred, kind of burnt feeling in the interior there, making it look like this fire has been burning for quite a few years. I think that came out really, really nice. Now, where does a king go to do some work? And that's, of course, the king's study. That's right. The king's got a beautiful desk, table, and chairs. And one thing I love about this desk is the centerpiece here, using, of course, the acacia log. And I think that came out really, really cool. Now, of course, we have some chairs along the edges here. And then on the back side, he's got some quills, got his key. Kings need keys, apparently. And of course, the little candles and quills. And yeah, I think this room came out really, really cool. And the beams on there, the chandeliers. Now, in this left-hand tower, I don't know what to do here. I need your guys' help here because, I don't know. I was trying to think like what else kind of goes with the themes that we're kind of going with. And I kind of drew a blank. So help me with this. So in the comments, go #left tower designs and come up with some things that we could do for the, we got an upper level in here, got the lower level and the really lower level. So help me with that. Now, where would a king go after a long work day here? Well, to his brand new bedroom on the top level of the right-hand tower. So let's head up here and take a look at this. 4-poster bed looks amazing. Like, I want to get in there and take a nap. Look at that quilt. And look at this. This looks pretty cool. We've got some nice little chairs. We have a little coffee table here. And of course, our fireplace design slightly scaled down from our lower level. So I think that looks really nice. That also gives us room to put maybe a sword on the top there, barrier blocks protecting it. And of course, we have an additional sword over there. Now, this is pretty awesome. Of course, these are literally Wizard King robes, which go perfect. So I think that's nice. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with the way everything came out. And of course, this is the coolest thing, is how you're able to just see everything from up here. All the little details. This can be an incredible, powerful area to hold down, but also has its disadvantages of getting caught up in this area. And yeah, so here we go. I really hope you guys enjoyed today, and hopefully this video was able to inspire you for your own castle designs and interior builds. And yeah, so until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And if you believe the video deserved a rating, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later.